This is the second ring. I just did it this morning. However, these are yesterday's rails. I did not change the rails, and here's why. Now, when I went this morning to do the second ring, I felt here that there was very little difference from, like this is the third one, but there's very little difference from the one that hasn't been sanded to the one that was, which was the same height as what these rails got sanded down to. And then I'm thinking, the pinch rollers, like this pipe will represent the pinch roller. And as it's rolling back, and when it drops off the edge here, there's very little difference going up and down before it's resting on the original rails. It's still pressing down pretty good because I imagine there's, maybe almost 1/4 of an inch of spring-loaded play on these rollers. They drop down, like when I'm shoving this under the machine, I can feel the pinch roller, come up onto whatever it is that I'm going to sand. So anyway, bottom line is I tried it, and I checked very carefully. I do not have any snipe on this where the pinch roller would have dropped off and the whole thing would have come up a little bit, and then the drums. Anyway, I think I've beaten this to death. Bottom line is, I didn't need to make these extra rails. However, I'll be able to use them up in time. But I've used this machine with a sled, with rails, many times, and I never thought that, hey, wait a minute, maybe it'll work using the old rails. I've always just thought I had to replace them. Like I say, I'm beating this to death here. Let's get on with it. For the most part, the other 7 rings went through just as planned, except for 2. One of the segments was a little bit thinner and maybe a little bit crooked, I'm not sure. Anyway, I had to put that one through, I think, 3 or 4 times. And then on one of the others, I forgot to lower the conveyor. So the first cut was going at the same dimension as the second cut should have been. In other words, that particular ring is probably a 64th of an inch thinner than it's supposed to be. Otherwise, they went great, just as planned. Okay, let's hold everything down nice and tight so I know that all the joints are closed. And that's what we got. Not too bad. I'll admit that's almost twice as much as what I'd predicted, but it's still less than a 1/2 inch. Well, there's something inside there I want to see, and I honestly have not looked. This will be the first time, and some of you want to know too, just how much glue got stuck on those rollers. Well, that's pretty good. That's very good. You know what that means? It means that my walk-in kiln worked really well. Now this is where the center is going to be, where everything is going to be turned from. So I want to try and make sure that I've got everything centered up here. Okay, now see if I can turn this over without letting anything slide. Okay, I think I got it. And just draw a circle around this side too, just to Sort of a redundancy thing going on, I guess. Okay, now I want to index everything. So this one will go here. Okay. I think we're ready to glue these three pieces together. Now, when I glue this up, and when I get the glue on here, this is going to slide around really bad. So I'm going to fasten some cawls just to hold everything in place here. I'll try and get it reasonably lined up. Now the idea of this, of course, is when I take it out and put it back, as long as I get the indexing right, everything should be exactly the same way and it's not going to slide around. Now for this piece here, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Okay, I think you can see what's going to happen here. Now obviously I won't be able to put this on until after I've got these two glued up and the glue on right here. Well, you'll see. It's easier to show you than to tell you. Now, needless to say, I do want this thing gluing to the base here. Okay, I think that's where it was. Now, if I line this one up, just doing a dry run here, make sure it's going to work. Because once the glue is on, then it's kind of hard to adjust everything later. Okay, yeah, that should be alright. You can see the little mark there, so I just line those two up. Now what I will do afterwards then is adjust these things that they will come up against the sides here, so that when the pressure is on, nothing's going to slide around. You're probably getting sick of hearing me say that. Now I know that I let my stuff dry way too long. I don't need to wait 48 hours, but I want to leave this at least 24 hours. And today in the mail, while I was working on this, a little box came for me. So I guess when I say we'll see what we got in the morning, it'll be two things: this glue up and what's in the box. Be starting another pen series, and some of you are going to be surprised.